Okay, so the first thing you want to do is separate out your locks from the main piece of Suri fleece that you have. So this is a raw piece of Suri Alpaca fleece. It's about 9 inches long. And the first thing you want to do is find the tip of the fleece and pull that out from your mass of Suri Alpaca. You want to put it in a little bundle and make it into its own lock. And you, as the artist, will probably figure out quite rapidly how much fiber you want per lock. And if you get too much in there, you run the risk of making it not being able to get it as clean toward the base. But let's just say for now that this is a good size for a lock. So we're going to take our rubber band, find the base, wrap it up, and there you go. There's one of our first locks. It's a couple inches from, they're a centimeter or two from the top where all the fibers connect, and you've got that nice drape down there. So, okay everybody, so this is a bowl of lukewarm water, and what we're going to do is we are going to wash the 2 Suri locks that I've created. This is just plain dish soap that I got at the store. And you want to saturate your water with the dish soap. Mix it in there. Get it pretty soapy. And then take the locks by the base. These rubber bands kind of become your handle for the next part of this process. So take the locks, put them in the water. And I probably want a little more soap. I'm just using 2 locks as part of this demo. But depending on how much fiber you're doing, you could have up to, a quarter pound, 4 ounces to 6 to 8 ounces of locks in your fiber. So I'm just going to get my locks wet here, and I'm going to let that soak for about 5 minutes to 10 minutes. And what you're going to do is that animal fleece, particularly sheep and alpacas, they do have some grease in them, and what we're doing right now is we're letting our dish soap kind of penetrate any small amounts of grease that might be in our Suri Alpaca fleece. It's also softening the dirt and the dust that is in these raw locks. Okay, so now we are at the end of our 5 minutes. My locks have been soaking, and you can see now, if you look a little closer, they're a little more white, and the water is a little bit dusty, a little bit dirty, okay? So what I like to do is, after I've soaked for about 5 or 10 minutes, I change my water. I get new warm water in there. I put a new round of dish soap in, and I let it soak for another 10 to 15 minutes. Now after that second round, that you haven't moved your locks, you're just letting them soak and sit. After that second round, then I take my locks by the handle and I swish them through the water very gently. And I let the water pour off of them, and I kind of milk them like that. And what I'm doing is I'm draining out all of the remaining dust that is caught in those fibers by using my little handle for the locks. Okay, so this is my 3rd batch of warm water. I have not added soap to this. We're trying to rinse our soap out at this point. And all I'm doing is I'm just pulling the last bits of my dish soap out. You can see that the water is running really clear now. That means that I have gotten most of the dust and debris out of my Suri locks. Okay, so as you can see, I only have a little bit of water in my bowl this time, and that's because when I put my conditioner in, I really want as much conditioner on the locks as possible, and putting too much water in there would dilute my conditioner. So I'll go ahead, again, this is just very cheap store-bought conditioner, like $1 or $2. I squirt my conditioner in there, and then you're just going to, again, mix it in with your water, mix it in with your locks, and then with the conditioner, you're just going to let that soak for about 10 to 20 minutes, and it conditions the locks, and it's what makes your Suri locks really fine and smooth. So we're going to let that sit for 15 minutes. At the end of this 15 minutes, I'm not going to show it in the video, but at the end of this 15 minutes, you're going to go ahead and get another batch of warm water, and you're going to rinse out your locks. Very similar to how we rinsed soap out of our locks. Alright, so we have now washed, conditioned, and rinsed our Suri Alpaca locks. They come out kind of looking like a drowned rat when you're done. They got that Little tip there. And all we're gonna do now is you're gonna lay your locks out to dry on a rack or a well-ventilated area. You do want to have some air circulation above and below the lock. And you let your locks dry probably at least 10 hours. That is highly subjective considering if you have them in the sun, if you have a fan on them, if you have them inside or outside. You'll know your locks are dry when they look and feel dry, but we want to brush them when they still have a little bit of moisture left inside them. If they are completely dry and they get too dry, you will break a lot of the threads as you're trying to comb them out. So as your locks dry, after about 10 hours or 8 hours, come back and feel them. And if they feel mostly dry with a little bit of moisture, that's when you know you're ready to brush. That's when you know you're ready for the brushing stage. So I'm going to go ahead and let my locks dry for about 10 to 12 hours, and then we'll come back and do this again. We've had some dry hot heat today in Oregon. So I take my locks. This is just a basic brush from a pet store, like a cat brush or dog brush. And I get a little base underneath my locks so I can brush against it. And then you start at the bottom and you work up. And as I'm brushing, all that VM is coming out, it's scattering onto the glass. And I get closer and closer to the band, and then once you reach the band, you can kind of fan out your fibers. There's often a lot of debris and VM that gets caught right at the base of the band. And then just brush that out, try to get it more intense, or excuse me, try to brush more intensely at the base of the band. And you lose a lot as you go along. That's why Suri Alpaca locks that have been processed are so expensive, is because your finished product weighs much less than the raw Suri Alpaca that you put in at the front end of this project. So I'm brushing through. It's just like human hair. You start at the beginning, come all the way to the top, you fan it out at the base of the band, and then brush it more thoroughly right there. That's also where you tend to get some unbrushed tangles. And there you have it. Now you've got two very beautiful, bright white Suri Alpaca locks that are ready to go for your BJD project or your next doll hair reroot.